Let's talk a little. We're going to get to the NBA with Kenny Smith because that Joker thing that happened. Like, is he facing a suspension? Likely? Could be. All right, we'll ask him what he thinks. But let's get to the NFL. We have the schedule released. That is on Friday. We'll be covering it on our show. The draft and free agency are over, so we got to finalize that schedule. And it actually happens Thursday night, guys. So we'll have the breakdown for you at the end of this week. And so there's teams that have done everything that they can do to fill their needs this offseason, but there's still some questions that we don't have answers to. So I thought we could maybe kick things off today by digging into some division by division. And we're going to start with the NFC East. So first up, let's just start with those Cowboys. We had a Cowboy wearing a Philly jersey at the game. I thought that was super weird, but that was happening. Was that a dream that I had, or did that actually happen? All right, well, here, they were really aggressive this offseason, Micah Parsons included. They made big trades. They get Brandon Cooks, they get Stephon Gilmore to give them a serious boost at some skill positions, making the offensive coordinator change. Bye-bye Kellen Moore, the left-hander, too, shoddy. They said bye to Zeke Elliott. I feel like this wasn't a big enough story, right? Jerry hinted that they might still bring him back, so maybe that's why it's not such a big story. But even with the big swings the boys made, the question is this. Is Mike McCarthy the guy to bring America's team back to contender status? I'm not even going to say to contender status. We've given McCarthy his credit, right? Last year, he became the first Cowboys head coach to make back-to-back playoff appearances since Chan Gailey back in 1998, 1999. But as we know, the standard in Dallas is different. And as we know, there's a bug on my desk. Goodbye, sorry, have a good day. We know that the window is shrinking. Time is of the essence when it comes to Jerry Jones and company. This team is closing in on year 30 without a trip to even the conference championship game. We know the talent. The Cowboys, the Bills, the only two teams in the NFL to rank in the top 5 in scoring offense and scoring defense. But there's something that is not clicking with the team in this playoff and big game situations that they find themselves in. So Jerry Jones opted to keep McCarthy over reeling in the big fish and Sean Payton, okay, and paying him a ton of money to see what they could do. And it could be the move that ends up defining this era of Cowboys football. And I don't know why it didn't happen. I don't know how realistic it really was. And, maybe, sure, the offensive coordinator change and some of the talent upgrades are going to jumpstart things a little bit. But I don't think I'm crazy in saying that it's now or never for Dallas, right? At least under Jerry Jones' stewardship. And with the Eagles sitting in their division and the third toughest schedule in the league at their hand, which will be released on Thursday night, it is not going to be an easy path. So that's my question. Were you right in keeping McCarthy? Is he the guy to take you there? Next up, let's head over to the Commanders and take a look at Washington. So here's my question for this team. Did the Commanders pull a heist by snagging quarterback Sam Howell in the 5th round last season? Man, does Twitter love themselves Sam Howell. Wow, I want to interview him. I have to understand what he's all about because I was shocked. They're obsessed with Sam Howell. And I think it's clear Ron Rivera and company seem to think he is the guy. They get rid of Wentz. They leave Taylor Heineke, who I thought was the crowd and team favorite. They let him go, and then they have every opportunity to try to grab someone else, whether it was Derek Carr. They could have been involved in making an offer to Lamar. They weren't. They could have traded up for a quarterback in the draft. Or, you're seeing Will Levis slide, and he fell into their lap at 16, and they said no. They decide to pass on every one of those options, and instead they bring in Jacoby Brissett, a veteran, sure, Super Bowl champion caliber guy who knows what it's about, to back him up. So this Ron Rivera regime is entering year 4. They're still looking for a winning season. New ownership is here. There's not much time to get this thing turned around. So for this franchise to put all of their chips in behind Sam Howell is a huge statement, and I don't think enough people are discussing that. So Howell, he's an unknown at this level, but there is a lot to like. Look at Week 18, okay? This is his start last year. He picked apart the Cowboys. This is great footage. This is convincing. He leads the Commanders to a convincing 26-6 win. He throws for a touchdown. He runs for another one. It wasn't the cleanest performance, so it shouldn't have been. And the arm talents, the mobility popped off the screen there, which we love. I don't know. He must have done this every practice. You must have had this kind of a showing and this kind of a game to have it looking like it's going to be Sam Howell. So that's my question for the Commanders, okay? And Sam Howell, by the way, a 5th-round pick. And we'll see. He had a great sophomore season at North Carolina, and he was supposed to be the top quarterback off the board in a bunch of drafts, but then he had this weird season. So we'll have to see what's next. All right, let's get into the next team here. Let's go to New York. Okay, let's go to New York. Daniel Jones gets his extension. Saquon gets the tag. The question for me is, have the Giants done enough around Daniel Jones to take that leap into contention in the NFC? Joe Schoen enters this season masterfully, but sort of hamstrung, right? Still trying to work his way out of some bad contracts that were handed out by the previous regime, but still managed to make some things happen. So despite the Giants' $22 million in dead cap space, thanks in large part to Kenny Golladay in that deal, Schoen was able to bring in a lot of talent this offseason. Look what Daniel Jones will be throwing to this year, okay? Of the top 8 weapons in this passing game right now, 4 were brought in this offseason, headlined by Darren Waller, that trade, and third-round speedster Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. Another 2, Sterling Shepard, and last year's second-rounder Wan'Dale Robinson spent most of last year on IR. So if you look at this, only Isaiah Hodgins, who, by the way, joined the team mid-season after he got cut by the Bills, and Darius Slayton, those are the only guys returning that did get significant reps with DJ last year. So it sort of doesn't look like there's a true number 1, right? Hamilton did say it in his breakdown, Hammer Time, that he did, that Darren Waller is so special that he could be their primary target from the tight end position. They might not need a number 1 wide receiver, but this is the makings of an awesome group of receivers on paper. The front office did the best that they could given their hamstrung situation, but we know that it looks good there. How is it going to translate yet? Because Darren Waller is a superstar, but we all know the knock is that he struggled with injuries. Can he stay on the field? Same deal with Sterling Shepard. Veteran, great guy, stay on the field. Wan'Dale Hyatt, super talented, super young players, very unproven. So that rough playoff loss to the Eagles made it really clear the Giants lacked firepower to contend with these big guys, even in a watered-down NFC. So if this group can stay healthy and play to their potential, we could see these G-men go from this cool sort of anomaly of, we thought they were rebuilding, all of a sudden they're in the playoffs, like this fun little story, into a legitimate threat in the conference. And Daniel Jones might make a lot of people feel and look really stupid for hating on his new deal. Did I make it through all of the teams? Cowboys. We didn't do the Eagles. Why not?
We don't have any questions.
We don't have any questions for the Eagles? Why?
Because we're great.
Why don't we have any questions for the Eagles? Did I just mess that up? Oh. What do you mean? They've got some... Was Marissa in charge here? They don't have like, questions? Are we joking? I got questions for the Eagles. How did that not make the show? All right, we'll be back. Coming up, we do have Darius Butler. We're going to go inside the NBA with Kenny Smith. Are the Lakers back-to-back championship contenders? I'm going to the game tonight.